Good afternoon. I'm John Hinton along with Paul Condon. Paul, a bit of a surprise here today in the fact that we have Centennial here. They knocked off a team from Seneca, a team that was ranked #2 in the country in the game last night, and as a result, it is, in fact, Centennial here today against Humber.
That's right. It's got to be a terribly exciting game for them, going against the #2 ranked team in the nation, coming up with such a close win. The coach of the Centennial Colts before the game said he didn't even realize the game was over in the semifinal game, and he's just so happy. He said he's still on cloud 9, so he's happy to be here, and you better bet his team's going to be pretty high and ready to go for this championship game.
Well, he said the real problem right now is trying to make sure his team keeps an even keel, but you know, they were a much different team than the last time these two teams played each other. In fact, they played each other twice, and Humber's won both games, but really right now you look at this team from Centennial, much different.
That's right, and Humber know that. And talking to their coaching staff before this championship game, they said whatever took place between the two of us earlier in the season will have no bearing on this game. He said both teams are different, and we approach it as an entirely different experience. We're going to go in, we have our game plan, he said, but we are facing basically a different team than we faced earlier in the season.
We'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Centennial team. We'll notice they have a fellow back there by the name of Michael Brown, and he's on your left.
Well, he certainly is going to make his presence felt out there. Look at the size of him. Tremendous torso, 6'3", but boy, he plays a tall 6'3". Then we see Wayne Brooks, a forward, 6'1", moving along to his teammate, Lincoln Bruni, another man that plays very tall for 6'2". The captain of the Colts, Wilton Grant, very valuable member of this team. Richard Brewster, another 6 foot even forward, but boy, they play tall. They play much taller than their heights would seem to indicate.
The Humber Hawks are still looking for their first Ontario championship. Sharon has won it the last 3 years, and 2 years before that it was Centennial. Now here are the Humber Hawks starting 5. We'll begin with Ainsworth White. Ainsworth is 5'10" from Toronto. He's a second-team All-Star. Rookie really controls the tempo out there for this team from Humber. There you have a look at Cohane Sutherland. Cohane is from Central Tech in Toronto. Heath Tomlinson from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Come a long way, 6'4" to play here today. George McNeil, really Mr. Everything for Humber. He's scoring all kinds of points, scoring, in fact, 21.4 points a game. And Justin Liddy is a tall man in there at 6'5", and he's the man that's going to have to watch some of the big men inside for Centennial in this game today. So there you have a look at the two starting lineups. We'll be back with the opening tip-off right after this.
Championship game, Jim Orr on the left, Ian Gill on the right.
As we get set to start this basketball game, the Humber Hawks will be defending the zone to our right in white. And as far as Centennial is concerned, they'll have their maroon and gray and white trim. So the Colts have control of it. Michael Brown is number 4, passes the ball over to Lincoln Bruni. Sort of get the feeling when you look at the two starting lineups out there side by side as Wayne Brooks puts the first 2 points on the board, Paul, is that Centennial seems to have a bit of a height advantage.
I think so. First observation that would be just going across the tops of the head. Remains to be seen which team has the most spring, whether they use that height or whether the shorter ones can get above them on the leap.
Ainsworth White is number 10. Good job to get the ball inside that time to Heath Tomlinson. And Tomlinson from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan has the first 2 points for the Hawks.
Well, that's going to be the style of their game. Move it around, work to the inside.
Mike Brown, 6'3". Big man to be playing point guard, but that's what he's doing in this game. Brooks hands the ball over. Wilton Grant.
Well, good penetration there. That time down the floor. Number 13, Lincoln Bruni got himself in a good spot, faced up the basket and scored.
Bruni from Agincourt, Lamoureux Collegiate. Makes it a 4-2 Centennial Colt lead. The Colts on the season, a record of 10-8, which was good enough for 4th place. In fact, they ended up tying Sheridan College for 4th and beat them in a playoff earlier this week.
Good save, good save. They really had lost that ball. Terrific effort, gets it back.
George McNeil, number 44, goes over top, but I think he's going to call a foul on Justin Liddy, 55.
Well, he was up there playing quite high in that one, but went over top of the defender.
Justin Liddy, who's finishing off his collegiate career at Humber. And, of course, he's hoping that there'll be a victory in this game if there is, and there'll be an opportunity to play a little bit more. at the national championships. Brooks.
12, 15. Come on, James.
Now Brown. Brown didn't play the last couple of times these two teams face each other, and their feeling is that with Brown in the lineup, that Centennial's a much better basketball team.
Adds a real strength, and he's a tall man. You mentioned to play out there at the point guard. He can play the swing forward position as well.
There he got the loose ball and brings it down the floor. Drops it over. And a basket that time for Richard Brewster.
Well, nice jump shot on the part of Brewster outside. The defender gambled on the steal, missed, and Brewster had the wide open shot.
And our first look at George McNeil, number 44 for the Hawks that time. Here's Brewster again, twisting it away, and McNeil picks up the loose ball. But George McNeil, the real leader out there for the Hawks. A first-team All-Star and an All-Canadian candidate. Puts it up. Brown takes the ball back down. Brown, there you saw it moving towards the bucket. A nice job, however, by the defense of the Hawks that time to block it out.
Beautiful play both ways.
3 minutes gone, 6-2 score, Centennial. There's Tomlinson making it a 6-4 ball game.
Well, he found himself all alone on the side of the basket. No hindrance at all. Just like practice, puts it up and in.
And they find a piece of something on the floor. I think it's a stick of gum.
Looked like it. Left over from the warm-up, possibly. Well, we have to admire the job they do in keeping this facility in good playing condition. They're out here halftime of every game, before every game, cleaning the floor. Really keeps it in tip-top shape.
Brewster sets it up. Off the side of the rim. Humber ball.
Well, there you see one of the Colts coming back down the floor. Wayne Brooks. These players play a lot taller than they look. They're able to spring up there.
Off of the backboard that time, and it goes in.
Well, I think he played it that way, really. You have to get some assistance, take a little momentum off a shot like that. Good idea to play the board when you're straight away like that.
Ainsworth White tying the ball game up at 6. And there you have a look at the strength of Michael Brown inside to get his own rebound and giving Centennial that 8-6 lead.
That's right. Strength at both positions. Outside the playmaker, inside the rebounder and scorer.
We were saying before the game, Paul, that a lot of these players, universities would love to get their hands on some of these guys.
Oh, they sure would. They'd find a spot in a lot of Ontario University teams. Just their choice has taken them the community college, which they find themselves right now. But you're right. There's a lot of talent on this floor.
Owen Officer calling a timeout at the Centennial Colts bench. As Cohane Sutherland came back to tie it up. We're tied at 8 with 15:42 time to go in this first half. Back in a moment. The Centennial coach played some basketball at Eastern Comas back when the Officer Championship there. Played at Centennial and also played at McGill.
Yes, he was reviewing for some of the highlights of his career as a player and as a coach. And he considers this one of them, getting here in the championship game after a rather spectacular semifinal. He's really pumped up, and I'm sure his players are as well.
Well, especially coming up with a big victory against Seneca, a team that was ranked number 2 in the country coming into this tournament. And the Seneca, in fact, ended up losing the consolation, as we saw last week.
Well, wasn't that a beautiful play? They had that set up with the lob inside to one of their smaller men. Defense not expecting it and almost went.
McNeil had the ball stolen away. Here's a quick break now. Neil Terrell.
Well, they had it there. They just let the ball bounce, trying to catch up to it. And I noticed that the Centennial coach used that long lead football type pass on a lot of their plays. They'll use it every opportunity they get.
Neil Terrell averaging 12.7 points a game. That's 9th in league scoring. Humber ball out of bounds.
Almost a steal for Humber. Rather
White.
for Centennial. The play just part of it.
McNeil dumps that ball over to Tomlinson. And out of bounds, so Centennial takes it over.
Well, Tomlinson had the right idea, trying to get it back to his teammate, but the defender got a hand, pushed it back into Tomlinson out of bounds.
Michael Brown. On road collegiate.
Good movement of the ball. Poor defense on the part of the Humber Hawks, letting the men get inside position for an easy bucket.
Neil Terrell got that basket. In the guidebook that they have for Centennial, they've got little sayings in there, what everybody's favorite saying is. And Neil's favorite saying is, "I'm too cool and I'm too sexy." Well, he's been pretty cool so far. Here's McNeil. Puts it up.
Wow, his spring just got him up above everybody. Great jump shot.
10-10 the score with 14:50 remaining in the first half. Good action both ways. Brown being watched by Tomlinson. Gets over to Brooks. Brooks trying to feed that pass inside. Knocked out of bounds there by White.
Let Michael Brown, what a point guard he is. His ability, he could play any place. He could move into the center and be at home.
All-around basketball player is number 4. Michael Trout has now come in. And Michael Trout is one of those players that's just recently joined the team, in fact. He has the ball now, puts it up. Has nice form on the shot, and they really feel that he's been a big addition since he joined the team around Christmas time.
Makes him a much stronger team. There you saw that good jump shot from George McNeil once again.
George McNeil, number 44 for Humber, now with 4 points. And the Hawks have the lead, 12-10. Trout trying to get around McNeil.
Pick it up.
And the ball knocked away that time by White.
Stay down all the way out.
Grant shot.
Gonna count. Foul on number 10. Ainsworth White of the Hawks will send Colts to the line with a chance to make it 3.
That's the second team foul against the Humber Hawks. Centennial yet to pick up a foul. With 6 minutes, 38 seconds gone here in the first half. We're tied at 12.
There's the man that picked up the foul, Ainsworth White. Really, it was a bomb from a long way out from the shooting hand of Wilton Grant, captain of the Centennial Colts, who's now at the foul line.
Grant, a second-team All-Star. Management student from West Hill Collegiate. 73% from the foul line, even though he missed that shot. White. They look inside, and jump ball. They'll check the possession, and the possession right now is Humber.
Goes over to the Hawks in the alternating possession rule. You can see the Colts once again. As soon as they're deep man, the men under the basket come up with the ball. The forwards are breaking down the floor to get that long football pass.
Ainsworth White checks out, and Tony Carvalho comes into the game. Carvalho, a freshman from Silverthorne Collegiate. There's McNeil's shot.
Got himself a little deep that time. I think it threw off his perception of the basket. He got an air ball up there.
Great job by Wilton Grant from Scarborough.
Wow, showed what he can do on the drive. He showed us earlier on the jump shot from outside, so he's a man that can hurt you outside or inside.
McNeil's shot came out short. Brooks has it. Hands it over to Brown. And Brown will bring it back down the floor. He's got huge arms on him, this man.
Oh, upper torso, just strength oozing out of every pore. See where he was on that play? Above the rim to get that rebound. Had to come down. As it was, that man put it in. Nice play underneath.
Wilton Grant got credit for that basket. He's up to 6 points. 16-12, 4-point lead for Centennial. A team that was unranked coming into this tournament.
Oh, you know he's going to pick up one there. A little bit of frustration creeping in when your player misses a shot from close in. Number 24 followed a shot. Cohane Sutherland. Now you see him come in. Watch him climb up over the back. Obvious foul, and it's an attempt at that rebound. Different defense now. Humber Hawks moving up here. Full court pressure. Colts break it fairly easily.
Brown gets the ball over to Trout. Into the middle. Nice pass to Brooks. Loose ball taken down that time by Justin Liddy. And setting it up. Hitting the backboard was Tony Carvalho. Brooks. But notice Humber's really only getting one shot.
That's right. Good positioning on the defensive boards on the part of the Centennial Colts.
Grant. Looking inside, Liddy just knocked it away as Brooks was racing in and trying to find an open slot. Liddy, Carvalho, McNeil, Liddy, and he used Liddy's good size here. Liddy 6'5".
He sure did. Good play in the defense, though.
Grant brings the ball back down the floor. Now with it is Neil Terrell.
See where Brown is now. He's moving inside the high post. Gets it down the low post underneath. Number 5, Wayne Brooks picks up another easy bucket from underneath.
9 minutes gone here in this first half. A 6-point lead for Centennial. Humber Hawks ranked number 4 in the country coming into this week's event.
Nice jump shot. Good touch on the part of the big man, number 55, Justin Liddy.
Here's Brown. Interesting to know, Paul, that even though we've played over 9 minutes here in the first half, Centennial has yet to pick up a foul.
That's right. It's rather surprising, really, because the Humber Hawks are noted for moving the ball around in position. So far, they've taken most of their shots from outside.
Great job by Mike Brown inside once again.
Well, you know, he can play any position on the floor and play it well. There you saw him underneath.
Humber head coach Mike Katz said, you know, this is a much different Centennial team we're going to face because of the addition of Mike Brown, and certainly that's been evident in this case.
His presence is all over the floor. He brings the ball up. First part of the game, he brought the ball up the floor, and then he moved to center. That's where we find him now. Sometimes the high post, sometimes low post.
There's Brown inside. Liddy got the ball, hands it over to Carvalho. Carvalho feeds it over George McNeil. McNeil looking to try and tip it in.
Gave himself a bad angle on his first drive to the basket. And in that in-between zone, not knowing whether to go for the board or play it clean.
Grant slowing it down. Neil Terrell. Here they come to Grant. Near side. 7 seconds on the shot clock, and the cry goes out from the bench. Terrell. Brown right there. And had it rejected by Liddy. Nice play by Liddy.
Certainly was. Liddy was right with him. His extra height there. He got up and blocked Brown's shot. I think both of those players wanting a blow right now. We'll probably see both of them come out of the game.
And the foul called on number 20, Richard Clark from Toronto. Humber Hawks. Clark, one of a number of players that attended Martin Grove Collegiate in Etobicoke. In fact, when you look down this Humber Hawk lineup, the majority of players are all from Etobicoke schools.
Yes, that's very interesting. A lot of talent comes out of that area, Toronto.
You've got Clark, Sylvester, Enriquez, all from Martin Grove. George McNeil from North Albion. Fella from West Humber, Donovan Howell.
As we suspected, both Brown and Liddy out of the game. They've been playing at a tremendous pace. Give themselves a little blow and let them get a second breath.
Wayne Brooks has 6. 22-14, 8-point lead with 8.5 minutes remaining in this first half basketball. And they get the ball back again.
Quick hands resulted in that turnover.
Centennial victorious, 73-70 over Seneca to get into this final.
Oh, that was a tough shot. It was in close. That was not an easy shot at all.
And a timeout called now by the Humber Hawks as we have Centennial open up a 10-point lead, and we'll take a break with 8 minutes and 11 seconds left to go in the half. 24-14 Centennial. That's the head coach for the Humber Hawks.
Throw the dang ball to the elbow. The guy's wide open. He's there. You got to throw the pass to him. You got to throw the pass in the middle of the zone.
Tom Elwood issuing instructions as well.
Come on.
Well, they dropped behind by 10 points. 8-11 remaining in the first half, so they wanted to get things back on track here. Get things going more their way in this game.
Right now, things are going Centennial's way, as they have seen they've gone the entire week. Centennial came up with a 3-point victory over Sheridan earlier this week. He had a game that was very, very close with 4 seconds to go. They were up by 1 point. So actually, Sheridan had a chance to come back and possibly win it. But Sheridan, for some reason, called a timeout. They didn't have any left.
Well,
all protected.
that's right. The excitement of a game, in semifinal play, you sometimes lose track of those all-important things. They took one extra timeout, technical foul, 2 free throws, gives them a margin of 3.
And there's a two-pointer for Ainsworth White.
Well, that was a nice one. See, that gets them back on track now after that timeout. Pressing a little bit now, changing the defense a little bit, giving a new look to the Centennial Colts.
White, in fact, a tournament all-star at a tournament at Centennial this past year. A lot of activity underneath that basket.
There sure is. That's literally pounding the boards. They're pounding each other under the boards. A lot of contact.
That's the first team foul here, Paul, for Centennial. That comes with 12 and a half minutes gone in the first half.
Amazing.
Went to Richard Brewster. Reaching over top, and Brewster picks up his second.
He certainly does. He's their designated aggressor out there, picking up those 2 quick fouls.
Wilton Grant will come in, replacing Brewster. George McNeil, number 44, puts the ball in the play. If you look at Brewster on the bench, McNeil drops it off. White. Far side, they go to Otis Williams. White. There's McNeil's shot.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful touch from out there. That's the man you go to if you need that 3-point play.
Keep your eyes on number 44 right there, watching the man with the ball. That's Wilton Grant. George McNeil, first player in Humber Hawk history to have his sweater retired. They retired it this past week. Quite an honor for the young man. Loose ball. Brooks throws it up. Nice job by White to get a hold of the ball. And this will be a possession situation, and it should be Centennial ball.
That's right. Boy, these fellows are just displaying a lot of quick hands out there. They're on top of each other and got those hands reaching for any free ball that the man with the ball happens to present to their side of the play.
And look at Michael Brown back in the ball game. Brown hands the ball over to Grant. There's Brown. 6:20. Time to go first half. 24-18 Centennial.
Playing the point guard position now out there in the quarterback slot. I think we'd have to refer to him as Mr. Presence, because no matter where he is, he makes his presence felt.
Grant. Down to 4 seconds on the shot clock. They got 2. They better get it away soon. They won't be able to.
Don't see it happen very often. It was just tenacious defense on the part of the Humber Hawks, something they talked about during their timeout.
And now a timeout has been called by Centennial as they want to talk things over. Their offense really not able to get much mustard in the last little bit. We'll take a break with 5:57 left to go in the half. 24-18 Centennial.
Brown.
One officer, Centennial head coach. His team playing very well here in this first half, up by 6, 24-18 with 5:57 time to go.
Sure are. He saw the margin come from 10 to 6, so he'd like to get it back up to 10. That may have been one of the reasons why he called the timeout. Just give them a few adjustments. You saw him diagramming an offensive play as we came back to action. There you see him concentrating, making sure that everything's the way he suggested to be set up out there. Now they're going back, trying to regain possession.
I think officer really appreciates this game and the fact that you got to have fun playing it as McNeil gets a 3.
That's the man we talked to. We'll put him in from the outside. You'll notice that time Centennial dropped back into a zone. And McNeil, anxious to take advantage of it, got away the unhindered shot from 3-point range.
Cuts the margin in half, so instead of a 6-point differential, it's now down to 3. Here's McNeil's long shot. Otis Williams. Williams had a notion to move on the shot. Took the shot instead. Loose ball. Brown has it. Brown is such an imposing figure back there.
He sure is. He's imposing. No matter where he is. Now he's high post. Now he goes into the low post position, coming out to get it.
He's 6'3", but he is so strong. White following up in the plays, McNeil.
Oh, that was a beautiful stop by the man we call the presence out there, Michael Brown. Got the ball, resulting in a jump ball. Unfortunately, it goes. Watch this block now. See, 4 coming in, stays up there, got nothing but the ball. Well, at the end of the play, his hip moved in, but referees had called a jump ball and possession going to Humber.
Inside, that shot that time by Donovan Howell. Missed. No basket.
Well, in that series of rebounds, Brown brought the ball down so hard, he actually hit one of the Humber Hawks, John Henrique, but and knocked him to the floor with it. Brown's just strength. Watch this play now. You see, that was a follow through, but Brown is just all over out there, rebounding both ends of the floor, setting up plays, scoring.
White. Williams. Here's Enrique. McNeil's long shot. Tried a three-pointer again. White underneath. Really missing some easy shots inside.
Well, there's a lot of contesting these rebounds at particular time. 10 picked up the foul. That's Ainsworth White. Grabbed the arm as the Centennial Colt player was trying to wheel away with the ball.
Enrique got the foul that time. Lincoln Bruni comes back in, number 13. Bruni from Agincourt, Lamoureux Collegiate. He and Richard Brewster, in fact, both from Lamoureux. Brown looking for Grant.
Some of the Colts thought that one of the Hawks would touch that, but evidently not.
White down to 4 minutes and 8 seconds. 24-21. Bit of a low-scoring first half of basketball. But the action's certainly been exciting.
Sure has. There's a lot of it out there. A lot of good talent on display here in this championship game. Look at that move.
Brown. There's Grant.
Look at that move. Everybody moved away from him, so he just took it to the top of the key and scored on the jumper.
Wilton Grant. Reset the 30-second clock. 5-point lead with 3:35 time remaining. Justin Liddy coming in, replacing Donovan Howell. White and Grant matching up. Otis Williams puts it. Couple attempts to try and tip at that time. Liddy's inside. McNeil's underneath. Loose ball. McNeil bounced it back out to Enrique. Here's McNeil. And McNeil was fouled.
After the shot, or maybe in the shot attempt, number 15 for the Colts, Niall Terrell picks up that foul. After the shot, it was called.
Niall Terrell picked up the foul. So now Centennial has 4 team fouls, and they've all come here in the last 3.5 minutes of play. As you look at Niall Terrell from Albert Campbell and Agincourt. Williams. See how quickly Centennial moves up to cover up the shot.
They sure do. They're very good. Fast feet on defense. Now they picked up their 4th, so maybe they aren't reacting quite as fast as they did earlier in the half.
Michael Trout with the foul. So that's now 5 team fouls. Putting it up is Williams. Loose ball, Grant takes it. Grant and Enrique is tangled. Grant.
Come on, Frank.
Trout. Back into the middle. Terrell, Brown.
Good movement on the part of the Colts. Pass went astray, however.
McNeil. White.
Nice jump shot. Good filling of the lanes that time. They didn't have that great fast break. They took the time, very patient on it. Got a good high percentage shot, and they counted it.
2.5 minutes remaining in this half. 26-23 Centennial.
A lot of fans calling for an over and back that time.
It was close.
Sure was.
Trout. Very few fouls, and in fact only 1 foul shot so far in this first half.
Well,
that one was taken by Wilton Grant, and he missed it.
That's right. That was a real fast break there. They had that break, really ended up not really getting a good shot attempt. Watch it now. Is he going to shoot or pass to his teammate? He laid it back to his teammate instead of taking the shot attempt, but the foul was called. Non-shooting foul.
Ainsley White looking for someone to pass the ball to. Drops it back into the middle. And another foul. Wilton Grant this time picks up the foul, and Grant, that'll be number 1.
Well, they're contesting it up there now. The Centennial Colts were giving the Hawks a little bit of a problem inbounding it. They tried for the long outlet pass way outside. Grant picked up the foul and going for the ball.
So even though they didn't have any fouls until the 7.5 minutes left to go in the first half, they've quickly found themselves in foul difficulty, and as a result, the Humber Hawks are in the bonus situation. Williams missing that shot. Here he is again.
Well, I think he found himself in a lot of traffic where he probably doesn't ordinarily shoot from. That's like shooting really over those tall trees in there.
Terrell.
They make it look so easy on plays like that. Just a nice feed to a wide open man. 2 points.
Neil Terrell would normally start in a ball game, but they felt they needed the size of Mike Brown back there. And as a result, Brown is in the game, but Terrell has certainly made his presence felt.
Good man. That's right. Great man to have coming off the bench.
Otis Williams checking out. Ainsley White. Brown. Up to Grant. Nice job to get back that time by Tony Carvalho.
That's right. Great movement of the ball by the Colts. They're really impressed with the way they can move that ball. And their players away from the ball as well. There you see, just a little tap. That's all it takes.
Terrell checks out. Brewster checks in for the Colts with 1:27 remaining in this half. Colts in front by 5.
They got a mismatch right there.
Brooks.
They had a mismatch set up all the way. Number 5 for Centennial Colts, Wayne Brooks. A little bit too big for Carvalho. See them playing it in. They got a mismatch right there. Sides against sides. Number 11's called for pushing out with his chest. Tony Carvalho.
Looping shot by Grant. Carvalho takes it. Drops the ball over to Liddy. McNeil getting by Grant. Finds a little bit of space and then runs into some trees, as you said.
Well, he got himself in there quite deeply. Went to go up for a shot attempt. Was grabbed in the attempt. Watch him penetrate now. Coming in. Look where he is. Inside the foul line. Midway between there and the basket. Defender called for whacking him on the arm. He'll go to the line for 2.
So McNeil will be at the line. And this is the first foul shot. In fact, it's the second foul shot the Humber Hawks have had in this game. Otis Williams missing the first a few moments ago. So overall now, both teams are 0 for 3 from the foul line in this game. With 1 minute and 1 second remaining in the first half.
There we have our first score from the foul line. Now maybe the ice is broken. Might see a few more of them drop through.
McNeil now has 10 points. Cuts the margin to 4, 28-24. Brown. Brooks. Brewster. Had the ball blocked. McNeil against Brown.
Should be a contest.
Great job.
Well, that's a play you like to watch over and over again. That was a real contest. You knew it was going to be. Number 44 coming down, George McNeil. Watch this against number 4, Brown. Look at that. Pumps once, twice. Gets Brown leaning one way, bumps into him, picks up the foul, and just puts it back where Brown was for 2 points.
Bradford Foster, number 24 from Toronto Eastern Commerce, coming in, replacing Brown. McNeil back at the foul line. First team All-Star. He's in recreational leadership. That's the program he's in. And he's certainly shown leadership capabilities on the floor. Completes a three-point play. Now has 13 here in the half with 27 seconds left. And a difference of 1 point. Centennial in front, 28-27. Grant. That one hit the rim. And Brooks may pick up this foul. Wayne Brooks.
I believe that's where it was. Going in from the far side, trying to go after the rebound.
And with the bonus situation, we'll march down the other end of the floor. Look at 1-1.
Come number 5. See Brooks hooking the defender, Carvalho, I believe it was, out of the way. No, it was not Carvalho. Number 31, I believe, was for the Humber Hawks that went to the floor on the play.
That's Heath Tomlinson at the line. Heath from Moose Jaw makes it count. We'll have a chance to go for the back half of the 1-1. Ties the game up at 28, and a chance for Humber to take the lead for the second time. And they do.
Well, they got to get it down here in a hurry. 12 seconds remaining when he touches it. Touches, he does, and scores with it. Richard Brewster.
Brewster now has scored down to 4 seconds. Humber will try to get one last shot. There it is. And McNeil missed it. Otherwise, would have had Humber in front. That's how close this game is. So at the half right now, it is the Centennial Colts in front by 1 point. Centennial 30, the Humber Hawks 29. We'll look at the half in just a moment.
Met my sister.
As far as this half is concerned, Centennial played pretty well.
They certainly did. I think had they kept their big guns in there and been able to put together a bit of a run, the margin could have well been 10 points in their favor. But they just, when they appear to be going, they'd have a little lapse or something and allow the Humber Hawks to get right back into it. But I think if they go with their 5 best here in the second half, they could swing things in their favor. That's the way it looks now, but you know, with the scores that the Humber Hawks have, particularly McNeil, he can get very hot and he can bomb them in from anywhere. So with a presence like that out there, you're never really far out of a game.
You look at this team from Centennial, much different than the last couple of times they played. Of course, they've lost both games they played against Humber thus far. But they have a fellow like Trout who's come back since around Christmas time. They have Brown in there. Those two players, very crucial in that first half.
Oh, they certainly are. And I think Brown's going to be a big feature this second half because he can do so much. I think it's a matter of Centennial deciding who they're going to go to. And it's probably going to be Brown, or let him enter into more of the plays and sort of narrow it down as to what they're going to do and the players they're going to involve in their high-scoring chances. That's going to be their key, I think, in the second half if they are going to really win this game.
We'll take a look at the leading scorers in the first half. We'll note that Brown and Trout are right in there as far as Centennial is concerned. In fact, Mike Brown is the leading scorer with 8 points so far for the Colts. Trout has 6, and Wilton Grant's also pitched in with 6. And for the Humber Hawks, George McNeil. Well, as always, George is a big scoring machine out there, averaging 21.4 points a game. Well on his way to that again today, 13 points so far. Aiton White and Heath Tomlinson also playing very well with 6 points each. But as you mentioned, Paul, right now we just don't know. It's anybody's game.
That's right. They're going to have to make their halftime adjustments, decide what's going to work best for them in the second half, and concentrate on going to those particular aspects of their game. They got to go with the hot hands.
As far as Humber's concerned, they've got a little bit more experience going for them than Centennial does. Centennial's record on the year was 10-8, and Humber much stronger. We'll see how that fares out in the second half, and we'll be back with the second half in just a moment. Ball, Centennial in front by 1, 30-29, and it'll be the Colts who put the ball in the play to start this second half. Brooks gets it into Grant. Wilton Grant, number 22. Up to Brown. Michael Brown, very strong first half. Neil Terrell, number 15. Lincoln Bruni's 13. And Grant, the other to round out the starting five right now for the Colts. There's George McNeil for Humber.
Well, you saw him leading scorer in the first half of this game. Gets off to a great start here in the second half. Nice drive, picks up the foul, goes to the line with a chance to make it 3, and that's the way you want to start the second half. Look at the fast break now. Watch McNeil on the far side of the court. You saw the steal come up and went down to McNeil for his layup.
Humber starting Otis Williams instead of Cohane Sutherland to start the second half. McNeil with 15, looking to make it 16. He does.
Well, that's the quick turnaround. That's what a coach loves to see. We started the second half, less than half a minute gone. You've gotten the lead back, and now you lead by 2.
32-30 Humber. Brown almost lost it. Good job to maintain possession. Terrell puts it up. Loose ball, Centennial.
Well, in the first half, neither team really got into a set pattern where they were doing really what they would like to do, and of course that's a tribute to the defenses. But in the second half, I think you're going to look for a little bit more disciplined play, going to the men that are real strength in this particular game and capitalizing on their abilities, their hotness.
Nice job to get the ball inside of Tomlinson that time.
Right, saw the defense collapsing on McNeil. Did a quick dish off.
Humber back in front by 2. Brown, Brooks, lost control.
Well, very few of those turnovers in this game so far. That's one of them. Gives the Humber Hawks a chance to add to their margin.
McNeil brings the ball up the court. Got away from a couple of men, gets it over to Otis Williams. Williams goes inside to Justin Liddy.
Liddy making good use of that height that got so much of in there. He turned around, squared up on his man, put it over top of him for his basket.
Liddy finishing off his collegiate career at Humber. Brown drops the ball off.
Nice play.
Wilton Grant now to double figures with 10.
Wilton Grant right there, the open spot. Moved to the open spot when he didn't have the ball. Brown got it to him.
Loose ball. McNeil picks it up, gets it over to Otis Williams. Williams has some room. Brooks takes it down. 36-34, Humber. 2 minutes gone. And this is a championship game. The winner will advance to the national championships in Truro, Nova Scotia. Here's McNeil. Bounce pass it over to Otis Williams. He lays it up, pushes it a little too hard. McNeil follows. And he was fouled that time, as going back was Neil Terrell.
Otis Williams had a wide open shot. May have heard the footsteps a little bit too much and just banked it right out there, went completely away from the board. But McNeil, following up on the play, forced the Centennial Colt player to foul.
George McNeil from Toronto's North Albion Collegiate, which is not that far from Humber College, in fact. McNeil now 4 for 5 from the foul line. Lincoln Bruni coming out, number 13. He's replaced now by Michael Trout.
Well, they don't really give themselves a chance to get going here. Testing the rebound. Number 55, Liddy, I believe, picked up the foul.
And that's number 2 on Justin Liddy.
Notice where Brown bounces the ball. Notice how high his dribbles come. He makes himself open to steals with that high dribble. He's a good controller of it, but boy, it really comes up there. It means it's open for a steal, a sweep.
Terrell.
Well, good dish off. Number 15, Neil Terrell, picks up that feed from Brown.
Long pass by White over to Liddy. Humber spreading out their offense. They lead it by 1, 37-36. Here's McNeil along the baseline. Tomlinson follows up.
Well, he's in the right spot. He had inside position on McNeil's drive, all by himself, really, for that rebound.
Keith Tomlinson makes it a 3-point ball game in favor of the Hawks with 16.5 minutes to go. Brown. Even though he bounces the ball very high, he certainly does a good job of using his body to protect the ball.
He certainly is. Some of his turns, he leaves it out there, and the defenders are right there ready to nip it off.
Otis Williams went in hard.
Yes, he did. He didn't let the footsteps bother him that time at all. He charged right down there. Watch him go in. He challenges the defender. Wasn't able to make the shot, but he picked up the foul.
Like Trout, number 20, picked up the foul. Coming into the game now is Richard Brewster. And he'll replace Neil Terrell. Otis Williams, not a very good foul shooter. 0 for 1 in this game, only 30% on the year.
Well, this is the time you like to see him connect, and he certainly did that on his first of this two-shot attempt.
Oh, he looked pretty good in those two shots.
Well, you might say he's a role player. He did his job at the foul line. Now he's coming up for a red. Look at the Hawks now putting pressure on the Colts.
Five-point lead for the Hawks, largest lead they've had in this game. That's been cut down, though, on that shot that time by Richard Brewster, who has 6.
Nice shot by Brewster. Brown moved the ball around. They're always aware where Brown is. He draws a crowd. Dished off to Brewster.
I have the feeling both teams are scoring a little more freely in the second half so far. McNeil tried to throw it off Brown to try and set up a play. It didn't work. And that long pass intended for Brewster didn't connect. And in fact, he picked up the foul as he reached in.
Well, that's a good play on the part of Ainsworth White. He picked up that foul. Look, see out of the side of his eye. He knows where Brewster is. He just went right in front of him, kept his body between Brewster and the ball. Brewster banged into him.
Putting it up and in is White.
He went over top of Michael Brown that time. That was really a rainmaker.
5-point lead again for the Hawks, 43-38.
A lot of movement on the part of the Colts now. That's part of their offense. 4 men without the ball are really moving.
There's Brown having the ball rejected again by Liddy. Second time that Liddy's done that on him.
That's right. That's the real contest underneath.
Wide open now is Sutherland. Travel.
Well, he found himself so far in the open, so anxious to move into the bucket. He took that step, and that's often the case like that.
Brown.
You got 20.
Has left the game for a moment. Takes a seat. 14:50 time to go in this ball game. Certainly you'd have to favor Humber coming into this game, but with their 4th ranking nationwide and Centennial being unranked. But then Centennial has been killing them no matter where they stand.
Right. They're playing a solid game. They've got to start converting some of these shots now or getting second shots. There's got nobody in position for that rebound.
Lots of room here for White. They leave him wide open to lay it up.
Well, they had a good chance. The Colts were really slow getting back to defend that time, but Hawks weren't able to take advantage of a good layup shot.
Follow up on that play by Lincoln Bruni. And Bruni has 4. That's the margin back to 3.
Now you can see now the Hawks slowing it down a little bit, trying to get their concentration, not rushing and making mistakes.
Sutherland missed the shot, got his own rebound. McNeil puts it up.
And hits.
George McNeil up to 19 points. As we have a delay here with the substitution coming in. Donovan Howell, number 54, has come in. He's from Toronto's West Humber. Donovan also a second-team All-Star, rookie, 19 years of age, law and security student.
Almost, not quite. Looked like he had the steal, but number 10, White, Ainsworth White, for the Humber Hawks, called for holding.
That's his second foul in this game. 13:23 time remaining in the ball game.
I think they're checking a little bit too close over there. He's got to give him an opportunity to throw it in.
Grant sends the ball over. Brooks. And the attempt at a tip-in didn't work as Howell got the ball over to White.
It's the key possession now. If they go up 7, that's a different margin entirely.
McNeil once again.
And they do.
Three-pointer.
Three-pointer, up by 8. Now I think Centennial Colts, they don't want to see this go on.
George McNeil doing it with some of those long shots right now. An 8-point lead with 12 minutes and 50 seconds left. We'll be back.
We like the strong because when they overplay the wing, doesn't Donovan? Baby, there it is. Go direct. You got to read the overplay. And you didn't set a very good screen wherever you are. Okay? You're starting too close. You just further out. Come on. We get the angle. Bang. Now, you know what I like from this? O'Neill on the duck in. Who skipped
George
him?
Spade.
George Spade, right?
Well, you hear in
Well,
this
so
timeout
you can look the wrong way.
the Humber Hawks adjustment to that change we heard in the last timeout, the Centennial Colts. You recall we heard the coach Owen Officer telling his player to front that post man. That was the defense they were using. Now the Humber Hawks have recognized that, and they're saying do this to take care of that overplay. In other words, the Colts were playing in front of the men, the deep men, the post men down here, and we just heard Mike Katz suggest a way that they want to get around that. They're overplaying. He wants them to go to a certain area and break that.
And we really can't tell you exactly what they're doing because we're sitting right behind the Centennial bench. We don't want to tip them off.
That's right.
They were looking over at us.
Over here, check on our monitor, see what they can see diagramming up. The little call now, where the timeout occurred, who actually called it.
7.5 minutes remaining, an 8-point lead for the Hawks. McNeil. Pass inside to White.
Well, these are big possessions now for the Centennial Colts. They got to be sure that they get a good chance. Brown coming down, he's got his right hand on his right hip. So that's where he must have picked up that injury. Still bothering him.
Well, that ball went flying out of bounds. Grant. The difference really between these two teams is that Centennial has only got 8 men on the bench.
That's right.
You know, the players are going to get kind of tired the way they have to play at this level.
Got another rejection of a Brown shot. That's 3. Brown has blocked.
And Liddy's been involved in virtually most of them. Donovan Howell, the other big man inside, also doing a good job blocking some of those shots. Here's White. Grant. Beats the ball over. Brewster. Those are baskets that Centennial can't afford to miss right now.
That's right. Or they've got to, you know, if they're going to take a shot, be patient. Wait till your team's set up. Give yourself a chance at the second shot. As it is that time, there's nobody down there to contest the rebound. 4 Hawks around there and no Colts.
This foul goes against number 13, Lincoln Bruni. 6 minutes, 8 seconds remaining. There you look at Bruni, who is from Agincourt, Lamoureux Collegiate. Otis Williams. Back to McNeil. Drops it over. That shot went around for Cahoon Sutherland. No back to it.
Well, the Humber Hawks now, their inside play is starting to dominate in here. Watch them, how many shots they get. There goes another attempt. Now they get another rebound. Doesn't count, however. The foul occurred before that shot.
Wayne Brooks with the foul, his third. Wayne from Scarborough, Westdale Collegiate, second-year student at Humber. And at the line, we've got Donovan Howell. He's a 61% shooter from there, Toronto West Humber.
It would appear that the Colts are just wearing down a little bit. They've given it their everything. They're trying so hard. Just as they seem to be running out of steam. They need a spurt.
That's the second shot.
I think they have to be patient now. Run their set offense, their pattern. Well, nice bank shot off balance. The talent that put that one in for Wilton Grant.
Wilton Grant. Now McNeil has a 5:27 time remaining.
2 men on him.
Howell dropping it back to Williams.
Gives him a second chance, second 30 seconds. As the clock ticks down.
Steal that time by Brown. Down to 5 minutes. Brown lost control as McNeil took it away.
That high dribble. The ball comes up a long way with Brown.
You mentioned it earlier, and it cost them right there. Williams. Tomlinson. Nice job to get the ball inside the Sutherland, and Brown picks up the foul.
Well, he tried to catch up. He got caught out of position. Overplayed a bit. The man went back door on him. See him in by himself. Brown comes in a little late. Has to pick up the foul to stop the basket.
Williams and Tomlinson checking out. Liddy and White going back in for Humber. Down to 4 minutes and 43 seconds. And the Humber Hawks looking for their first Ontario basketball championship. Centennial's won it on a number of occasions. In fact, last 3 years it's been Sheridan College, and Centennial eliminated Sheridan this past week. 2 previous years before that, it was Centennial that won it.
Well, Cahoon Sutherland good on those 2. 9-point margin.
Sutherland has 4 points. 59-50, 4:34. Here's a shot by Grant.
Well, the captain comes through, doesn't he? He's made a lot of key baskets for the Colts today.
4:23 to go. 7 points of differential. Humber also right now prepared to run down the clock a little. Howell. Rebound. Brown took it. Outlay pass to Grant.
If they score this one, it's a big, big basket for the Colts. Puts them right back in the game.
Grant lays it off. Brown. Difficult shot that time, but they got it back. And Liddy will pick up this foul, number 55.
Well, you saw the Colts hit the board. Brown let go of the backbreaker, really. There his teammate comes up with the ball. Get a second chance. No shot, but the foul occurs. Now they have a chance to score 2. 2 big free throws.
Well, Richard Brewster, 58% from the foul line, misses his first.
Michael Brown continues to hold his side. He picked up that injury just a few minutes ago.
Brewster will come out, replaced by Trout. 59-53 with 3:50 remaining.
Well, Colts not really pressing yet. Still 6 points down, 3 baskets. 2 3-pointers are still within range.
White. White with it once more.
They'll take their time. They're down to 10 seconds.
White that time trying to get him around number 13, Lincoln Bruni, and Bruni picks up his second foul.
That's right. You wonder if they really needed it then, because they had the baseline working for him and just had to usher his player right into the baseline. Could have maybe forced him to stop, pick up his dribble. It's easy to say that from here. We're not out on the floor.
At the foul line, Ainsworth White, 60% foul shooter, his first shot from the foul line today. And White now has 9 points. Restores a 7-point lead. He'll try to make it 8 right here. Liddy follows up.
Key basket. They'll take 2 for 1 anytime. A missed foul, throw, a rebound, a basket. That's a good trade-off.
Difference of 9 with 3:17 to go. Grant. Centennial now beginning to force their shots.
Yeah, they're getting a little anxious. It's a good shot, though. High percentage. Grant's good at those.
White.
Oh, there could be it.
11 points for White. Humber can feel it. Some of the Humber players beginning to stand up along their bench with 2:45 remaining, and they lead it by 11.
Yes, they're excited.
Brooks feeds the ball back in to Richard Brewster.
That hurt. He's in the ball without getting his shot away.
White will slow the ball down. He's prepared to run some time off the clock again.
That's right, doing a great job of it.
And they're letting him run around. Now McNeil. Once again, they're down to 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Almost a steal by number 22, Wilton Grant.
Here's McNeil. Got that with 3 seconds left.
They can taste it now.
George McNeil with 26. 66 to 53, under 2 minutes.
Well, that was not an easy shot, and it's one that a coach would sooner see no foul on, because the foul stops the clock, gives them a chance to score.
1:58 left. The Humber Hawks on their way to victory, leading it by 13, 66-53. Back in a moment. 58 left to go in this basketball game, the championship game of the OCAA. The winner advancing to the national championships. Humber College this year had a record of 15-3. They were in second place behind Seneca. Seneca had an overall record of 16-2, but they lost to Centennial. Centennial wound up tied for fourth at 10-8. So Brooks makes them both count. He has 10.
Oh, nice play. They can take their time.
Liddy.
That's definitely when a coach doesn't want to see happen. That's why he stopped the clock and give them a chance to come all the way down there. You want to keep the clock going as long as you can. Now watch Liddy try to get back in here. Try to pick up the rebound. Really, he had to go right through his man or over top of him. In either case, it was a foul.
Well, they weren't in the bonus situation just yet. So that was an advantage. Out.
Keep her ticking.
A minute and a half. McNeil looking for 28. Got his own rebound. We'll try again.
Oh, my. That's quite a shot to score with your arm in that angle.
68-55. And that went off the foot of George McNeil.
Michael Brown, I was watching him last few times down the floor. And the hip is still bothering. He must have taken quite a crack on that right hip. There you see him coming in. You can almost detect a bit of a limp. Trout.
Over to Brown. Certainly has not been as effective since that injury. We're down to a minute. 68-55 Humber. White passes off. McNeil looking for 30.
Well, they're pretty loose and easy now. When you're like that, there's a good chance they're going to go in.
15-point lead for Humber. There's a three-point try. White takes it. Brings it down the floor. Feeds it over. Howell.
Oh, nice slam dunk. Howell like that. Wide open. No defenders around there at all. Pretty demoralized group for the Centennial Colts.
Well, they had a good run at it, that's for sure.
Nice drive by Michael Brown. Not able to convert it, however.
Howell on the floor that time, along with Brooks. Down to 18 seconds. Humber making some more substitutions. Well, George McNeil comes out. He'll get a nice round of applause from the Humber fans that are here.
Sure will.
Now it's simply a matter of just running the clock down, but we'll have at least one more foul as this one goes to Richard Brewster. But overall, not that many fouls in this basketball game. You know, pretty well played between the white lines.
Yes, that's true. Hasn't been a lot of trips to the line at all. Not like some of the other games that we've seen this tournament where there were an awful lot of fouls.
Haynes with White. Simply adds to the total at this stage.
Well, the margin may well end up 20, but I don't think it's a real 20-point game because the Colts were into it right into the near the end of the game. I'd say about the 6-minute mark was where that margin got away from them.
Down to 4 seconds and one more foul, and this one goes to Brewster, who fouls out.
Well, that was an attempt at the lob from Michael Brown to Richard Brewster underneath. Brewster trying to go at the ball, get the ball, moved into the Humber Hawk player.
So Neil Terrell will come in to replace him. At the foul line, Don Enrique. And Enrique gets a chance to get on the scoreboard.
They'll run it out.
Humber wins their first OCAA championship, and they do it in convincing fashion. They win it by 20. But as you mentioned, Paul, it was not a 20-point basketball game. It's just that Centennial really sort of fell apart in the last couple of minutes, and Humber just took over, dominated. They win it by 20. The final score, the Humber Hawks 75, Centennial Colts 55. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Today over the Centennial Colts by 20 points as they win their first OCAA championship. And Paul Conant, they deserve to win it today.
Yes, they certainly did. They really showed the control in the second half. I think they just wore down the Centennial Colts. Centennial Colts went with a 8-player roster today, and they just ran out of steam as much as anything. The Hawks kept the pressure on them, and the Colts' execution just broke down. Whereas the Hawks, once they had the openings, they really started to go.
Here we have a look at some of the presentations. Wayne Allison, head coach at Sheridan, the man, in fact, that has won the tournament the last 3 years, presenting the medallions right now to the Centennial Colts players. As you look at the trophies that are sitting right there, there's Owen Officer, the head coach for Centennial. deserving of his medal today as he came up with a big victory last night over Seneca to knock off the number 2 ranked team in the country.
That's right. He's getting the silver medal. I'm sure he'd love the gold, and pretty sure he's resolved in his own mind he's coming back here again to go for that gold in future years.
George McNeil, no doubt, the big player in the game today for Humber.
Certainly was. Under pressure, able to get away those good shots, particularly once again the second half, although he scored well in the first half. The second half is when the pressure was on. You're down to your final 20 minutes, and he came through with those good outside shots and playmaking for his teammates as well.
McNeil had 13 points in the first half. He added 17 more in the second half, and that's the result. He winds up with the 30 points here. And there you have a look at the Humber Hawks beginning to receive their awards right now. And as we say, their first championship, so it's got to be thrilling.
Yeah, it sure does. Anytime you come through in an established league like this with your first league championship, it's one that you always remember. We were the first ones to bring it back to Humber.
You know, you sometimes compare this type of ball versus university ball, but I think a lot of these guys could play university basketball.
Oh, there's tremendous talent on the court throughout this whole tournament. There's no doubt about it. They're great athletes.
Well, our congratulations once again to the Humber Hawks victorious here today. And that wraps it up for us here today from Seneca College. On behalf of Paul Condon and our entire TV11 crew, John Hinnon saying thank you very much for watching and have a good weekend.
The serial killer Bigfoot stalks McCall close to home on tonight's Hunter at 10. Casting out goes fishing next on TV11.